Just checking that we have a connection tonight. It's going to be hit or miss. It is difficult with these solar flares coming in tonight. Let's just check this out. Say hello to everybody. I hope the feed works tonight. We're doing our midweek POTUS report. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. This is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. It is our GoldFish Report number 530. Seems like we just had 500 and we're at 530 already. Oh my goodness. Midweek number 181 POTUS report. It is week 181. Our POTUS never stops. Our president never stops working and fighting for us. I'm really hoping that, actually, I got to restart. I'm going to have to trim that. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. This is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. This is GoldFish Report number 530. This is our midweek POTUS report, week 181. It's how many weeks our president's been in office, working hard, being the best commander-in-chief that he can possibly be for us. And the top of the report, now I'm just going to warn everybody that we, could have internet interruptions. We've been having them all day. The Schumann frequency is very high, and there are quite a bit of solar flares and a lot of, I think, gamma rays hitting the planet right now, causing a lot of internet interruptions. Let's hope that's what it is. Hi, Sherry, dear. How are you? Oh, yeah, we're going to we have a story to talk about tonight. I'm going to share a little story right up front because this is how crazy. First, I'm going to say that the president has activated Operation Legend, which everybody has heard about. And this is to finally take control back of the violence in our cities. And who's committing this violence but BLM, Black Lives Matter? We had a black president for 8 years. I'm going to make sure my headset is on. No, it wasn't on. Okay, now it is. We had a black president for 8 years. So where was Black Lives Matter then? Where was the racism then? In fact, where has it been for the past 3 years? Oh, all of a sudden, it's so racist. We have to destroy our cities. It's so racist. We have to, vandalize our statues. It's so racist. We have to tear our statues down. But it wasn't racist when Barack Obama was president. This is such a bunch of baloney, folks, and don't let for a minute these people fool you to think that they have anything to do with any kind of honorable activism of any kind. They are not protesters. They're anarchists. They're not protesters. They are violent criminals, and this is exactly what's happening. Hi, everybody. So today, I got an email from a friend. And I'm going to just read a little bit of it in very edited manner, okay? Because she's being denied service now from an acupuncture clinic. This is really what happened. This was a clinic that is in Asheville, North Carolina. It's an acupuncture clinic. And she said, I've been going to this clinic since, for quite a long time, up to 3 times a week for 3 years or so, right? And they recently sent her an email saying that they supported Black Lives Matter. Well, if she's a viewer of the GoldFish Report, I can tell you one thing. That's not going to be a welcome email. And it wasn't. She wrote back with a few emails that this was a Marxist communist organization and that it was just a money laundering operation for the DNC. And she was actually angry that she got the email. Long story short, the head of the clinic, accused her of being crazy, that she mentioned a story about the Black Lives Matter and the whole, I guess, movement. And apparently the clinic got mad at her. So it was okay for the clinic to email her Marxist propaganda, but it wasn't okay for her to defend her own position And because this was offensive to her as an American, as a as a reasonable, logical thinking human being, right? I think I've got the story right. And it turns out, folks, that she's being denied services. They've blocked her from receiving services now because she didn't subscribe to their BLM propaganda that they were emailing. They were unsolicited emails to their customers. Tell me what you think about this. Leave comments in the comment section and let me know what you do. What would you do if this happened to you? If you were patronizing a business for 3 years faithfully and had a great relationship with the people, and you really needed the service, and you felt very had a high respect for the people, and had a good relationship with them, and then suddenly you receive this email. What would you do? How would you respond to that? And then when you find out that they're actually now calling you crazy because you say, well, Black Lives Matter, is not a real, a protest group. They are anarchists, and they are violent criminals. We do have the right in our Constitution to peacefully protest. That's a God-given First Amendment right. We do not have a right to commit crimes, to vandalize, to rob, to steal, to injure policemen, and to murder other people. We do not have the right, and there is a legal system, albeit a broken one, but there is a legal system. You want to fix that, then go after the legal system. Then do something about lobbying the judiciary, who are their own police, right? So what would you think? What would you think? So if you guys had advice for this friend of mine, what would you say? What would you guys say? Because I mean, if you received literature in the email about BLM from some place that you normally do business with, and you didn't agree with it, it wasn't wanted, and it was unsolicited. You didn't ask for their opinion about their political views. What would you do? And then when you try to stand up for yourself, would you say something to them? Would you say, I don't believe this? Would you say this is fake news? What would you say? Well, it turns out, as I said earlier, they have denied her service because she spoke up for herself and said, you know what? This is offensive to me. And not only offensive, these are criminals, and you're even mistaken. I mean, I think she genuinely tried to inform people. And this is our mistake. For people who are awake, it's our mistake. You tell them, yeah, it is our mistake to think that we are going to convince these people. They are so indoctrinated. Somehow they drank the Kool-Aid, folks. They just drank the Kool-Aid. And I just don't know how these people are going. I'm going to tell you what, they are comfortably numb, and they want to be. But I'm going to tell you that the minute that duty really hits the fan, okay, the minute it really gets real around here, they're going to crack like a nut, folks. And they're not going to be able to handle what's happening. So you're saying, Karen is saying, unfortunately, Asheville as a whole is like that. Uh-oh. So that might be part of the problem. Is it a very liberal area, Karen? Is that what you're saying? And you would say you're disgusted and would report them to Attorney General Bauer. That's an interesting one. What do you guys think about going to the media? Do you think going to the media, you think they would be sympathetic to this cause or not? Depends on which media, right? What do you guys think? So this is why the president, and I have to tell you, it's so important to share the story, because here you have the president today, the White House. I'm going to screen share what they're talking about. This was from the White House today, folks. Take a listen to this regarding the Operation Legend activated. This is how hard our president works. If you want to know how hard our president works for us, you've got to follow these POTUS reports, because every single week we're reporting on the massive amount of policy accomplishments and challenges that this president has achieved and has faced. Let's just take a look at this and tell me what you think about what they're talking about here.
Unfortunately, we reiterate that the department fully supports those who wish to peacefully protest. Let me say this again. We support and we will protect those who want to peacefully protest. Unfortunately, what we are seeing in Portland every night, roughly from midnight to 4:30 or 5 a.m., is the complete opposite. Again, what is occurring in Portland in the early hours of every morning is not peaceful protesting. These individuals are organized, and they have one mission in mind: to burn down or to cause extreme damage to the federal courthouse and to law enforcement officers. At times, we also see them targeting city property. These individuals congregate in the same area night after night. We see them planning their attacks. And yet the city of Portland takes little to no action to stop or disperse this crowd. Let me reiterate that the department fully supports those who wish to peacefully protest.
Okay, so this is,
let me say this again.
This is about the crackdown that everybody is seeing, and I'm going to screen share a little bit of this. Where'd they go? Stories. I have to stop screen sharing because I can't find it. Okay, here we go. So Western Journal is reporting here. The Western Journal is reporting the left's fear-mongering secret police narrative shattered. Turns out viral Portland arrest was by Trump's new packed force. Let's listen. Oh, there's no volume on this, I don't think. Is there? Yeah, it's just sound. Okay, so let's take a look at this other video here, because this is, and I hope we get through this. Take a look at what's going on in this video.
What are you doing? Use your words. What are you doing? Use your words. What are you doing?
I haven't done anything wrong.
Use your words.
Use your words. What is she talking to, a child?
What is going on?
We need to know.
Who are you?
Why are you taking?
NLG will get you out. What's your name? Tell us your name.
What's your name?
Okay, you're fine. We'll get you out.
Bro, what? All right,
We got you, friend.
we got you.
Oh, fuck.
NLG.
You just violated their rights.
Oh, kidnapping people.
You just violated their rights.
Thanks for keeping them fucking. Oh.
All right.
What are you doing?
Woohoo! The president is kicking butt. It's about time. Come on. Let this anarchy continue for as long as it has. I mean, it's about time. And this is Operation Legend, folks. This is what I believe is Operation Legend here. And this is violent anarchists have organized events in Portland over the last several weeks with willful intent to damage, destroy federal property, as you just heard in that press release. And the president has responded, folks. And not everybody is obviously happy about this, but this is a law and order president. He was warning. He warned everybody that this was coming. He warned everybody that they are not going to take it anymore. The president kept tweeting and he kept posting on Facebook, law and order, law and order. And he followed up, and here you have the results. So think about the Sun Tzu aspect of this, right? If you're trying, you have to let your opponent expend their ammunition. It's brilliant. Sadly, there has to be some collateral damage because it's war. We are at war. We're at war with the invisible enemy. Yeah. So this is what's happening. So I hope everybody had. I'm hoping that this connection stays. We've had a lot of problems with the internet right now. So we'll take a look and see what happens. We'll just keep going and hope for the best, I suppose, right? Here we go. President's been very, very busy. So we're going to start with starting on the 18th, actually the 19th to the 22nd today. So I've really had a very, 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 very busy week so far. So I just haven't had a chance to update everything until today. So we're going to hopefully we'll get everything done. So let me screen share this for everybody so we can start looking at what the news is from the president. President had a press briefing. It was the first one he gave himself since the coronavirus task force disbanded, right? Or the press briefings disbanded from them. And he said he wanted to provide an update on their response to the China virus and what the administration is doing to get the outbreak in the Sun Belt under control. He says his team is working night and day with Capitol Hill to advance the next economic relief package as well. We're working very hard on it. We're making a lot of progress. I also know that both sides want to get it done. We'll call it phase 4. I think we're going to get it done. We'll protect our workers, our schools, and our families and protect them very strongly. He goes on to say that his administration will stop at nothing to save lives and shield the vulnerable, which is so important. And they've learned so much about this disease. And we know who the vulnerable are, and they're going to shield them indeed. And he goes on to talking about the elderly. We're going to get to that in just a few minutes. The China virus is a vicious and dangerous illness, but we've learned a great deal about it and who it targets. We're in the process of developing a strategy that's going to be very, very powerful. We're developing them as long as we go along. It's interesting the president says and who it targets, because in an interview, and I'm going to stop here for a second and just screen share another clip from Aaron Russo talking about what the globalist plan was. And this clip doesn't specifically say what they were going to do about the elderly, but this interview with Alex Jones does talk about that. The elderly were going to go first and everyone was going to be chipped. So let's listen to this real quick, because make no mistake, the president's very well aware of what's going on.
Banking industry, what they wanted to accomplish. And the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks, and they're all part of the Communist Manifesto. You know, central banking is one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time we have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right? So right there you have two major planks of the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
Yeah, total control of the people. And it's not a coincidence, folks, that here we have the True Pundit reporting here. Testing will begin in Africa for biometric ID, vaccine records, and payment system. Testing will soon begin in poverty-stricken parts of Africa for a biometric ID, which will also be your payment system and vaccine record. The biometric digital identity platform that evolves just as you evolve, right, is backed by none other than Bill Gates, backed by Gavi Vaccine Alliance, MasterCard, and the AI-powered identity authentication company Trust Stamp. The Gavi Alliance, which is largely funded by Bill and Melinda Gates and the Rockefeller Foundations, as well as allied governments and the vaccine industry, is principally concerned with improving the health of markets for vaccines and other immunization products, rather than the health of individuals, according to its own website. Similarly, MasterCard's Gavi partnership is directly linked to its World Beyond Cash effort, which mainly bolsters its business model that has long depended on a reduction in the use of physical cash. And that's not all. But I have to say that Q even knows about this. Check out this Q post. Let me see if I can brought this up real quick. See, this is the latest Q post here, folks. And this is what it's all about. You see? He says, in reality, they're not after me, they're after you, meaning all of us. He's in the way. Our POTUS, our president, is in the way. He knows. He knows. President Trump knows what the globalist plans are for us. He knows it. People, an informed, free-thinking public awake is their greatest fear. United, we stand. And this is really the message always that Q has given, is that we have to stand united and not let this BLM stuff divide us. Although I appreciate this friend who was trying to stand her own ground and try to talk some sense in to these people who were sending her propaganda. And it just, it doesn't make sense that they would, deny her services. It just is terrible. So anyway, let's keep moving along. So this is the plan. The globalist plan. This has been out for quite some time now. So you know that our president is the one who is protecting us. Please know this, because this is what he's doing. He's protecting us. He is being the greatest commander-in-chief we've ever had, because the obstacles and the enemy has never been greater than it is right now, in my view, and I think in the view of a lot of people as well. It's not like we can just point to one country and say, okay, we have we can outpower them, we can outmaneuver them, we can strategize them, whatever. That's not what this is. Indeed, the Third World War is happening, and it is a war of ideology. The question is, are we going to stand united against this, or are we going to let them divide us and conquer us? That's the question. Yes, BLM is dividing us. It is very true, and it's sad. Hi, Slim Frank. Nice to see you. Hi, Sea Rider. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. What's some good news? I know you're hitting the wall. Trust me. Tomorrow, Isla, just so you know, we're doing a very good news report with Dr. Scott Werner. So that'll be tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. God willing, of course, because we've had a lot of internet issues this week. It took us 3 days to get our political theater report recorded today, and it's titled. Actually, it's titled. Wow. I changed the title on the paper, my notes. What's it titled today? It's titled "U.S. Cities Become Slums Under Dems," and it's absolutely true. That's exactly what's been happening. A lot of things going on, folks. A lot of things going on. And what else did I want to share from Twitter that was important? Oh, you got to listen to this real quick. So again, the president, of course, he knows what's going on. You have to listen to this just because you love the guy, and you have to give him a platform, right? Listen to what he has to say.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Media is reporting that they had the most positive yesterday of any day they've had.
Sorry, let me restart.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Media is reporting that they had the most positive tests for COVID yesterday of any day they've had. And it just so happens yesterday my wife went to her doctor, and she's visiting with the doctor. The doctor wasn't believing the test she was getting back, so she took 10 brand new swabs straight out of the package, sent them to the lab, and guess what, folks? All 10 of them came back testing positive for COVID. They'd never been stuck up anybody's nose, but they still tested positive for COVID. You tell me how that works. Well, that's just one doctor. I'd read that on the media before, but I really wasn't sure. But when I hear it straight from the horse's mouth, makes me kind of believe them other people too. So quit listening to the media. Go live your life and quit worrying about this fucking coronavirus.
Hallelujah. There's a patriot for you right there, folks. There's a patriot for you. And, if that wasn't enough, we now also have Twitter, who is banning accounts tweeting or connected to Q. The backlash grows. They absolutely just completely validated the QAnon movement by bringing this attention to it and saying that it was going to ban the users or anybody any accounts. They will permanently, so listen to this. Twitter sent a warning to users on Tuesday, stressing the platform will permanently suspend accounts tweeting anything related to the QAnon, whose members often tweet about conspiracies related to the United States and who appear to support President Donald Trump. Wow. The action led to the ban of 7,000 accounts and limited 150,000 users, according to Twitter, as reported by NBC. Of course, I have to say, I haven't heard of anybody so far that has been banned yet. Or maybe this is old news. I don't know, because they've been doing this like all along, haven't they? They have been doing this all along. Okay. So let's move on. Yes, but okay, it may be... Oh, that's nice, Slim. Thanks for letting me know. Yep, he's getting around. So let's just keep moving along because there's a lot to talk about. I want to get to what the president's been busy doing because he's been working. He is standing between us and the globalists. As that QAnon post said, it's not President Trump they want, it's us. And he's in the way. He's in the way with all the things he's doing to undo what Barack Obama has done to destroy this country in the 8 years that he was in office. He also says the governors are working very, very hard. Let's screen share this. I don't go through the transcripts in full. I'm just going to pull out a few things. We are supporting them 100%. Everything they need, they get, and we are taking good care. We have tremendous supplies. This is about COVID-19, of course, and great supply chain, whether it's ventilators or gowns or just about anything they need. So that's a big difference from inheriting very empty cupboards. They're talking here about the median age of those who succumb to the China virus is 78 years old. Roughly half of all deaths have been individuals in nursing homes or in long-term care. In one study, 90% of those hospitalized had underlying medical conditions, whether it's heart or diabetes, but usually it's some kind of condition. It seems that people have that, and if they do, it's a problem, and no question about it. Young adults may often have mild or even no symptoms. They won't even know they're sick. They won't even know that they have a virus. America's youth will act responsibly, and we're asking everybody that when you are not able to socially distance, wear a mask, get a mask. See, it said when you're not able to socially distance, wear a mask. Whether you like the mask or not, they have an impact, they'll have an effect, and we need, oh God. How many times we show articles saying, even Fauci says, Tony the Rat Fauci says himself that the masks don't help. Oh my God, this is just getting crazy, folks. So crazy, oh my God. All right, we have a lot more to report on. I'm not gonna, yeah, exactly. If you watched American television, you'd think that the United States was the only country involved with and suffering from the China virus. Well, the world is suffering very badly, but the fact is that many countries are suffering very, very, very badly, and they've been suffering from this virus for a long time. We've done much better than most. Okay, you can come to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and you can read the rest of this very long transcript if you'd like. I'm going to continue. Actually, I'm going to stop screen sharing because I have to scroll for quite a while. I had to, let's see, is this the bottom of it? Yeah, this is the bottom of it. Let's keep talking about what else the president's doing. Okay, so here we have the president. The West Wing reads, talks about Trump's constitutional duty to enforce federal law, and he should. It's Trump's constitutional duty to enforce federal law. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. The Constitution says the president shall perform this obligation. We're not talking about an option or something he may do or not do as he sees fit. It is a solemn duty. It is what being the chief executive is all about, former Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy writes at Fox News. Pfizer said Wednesday it had signed a $1.95 billion pact to provide the U.S. government with 100 million doses of a COVID-19 vaccine. Yeah, right. Americans will receive the vaccine for free. For free, because no one's going to want it. You can't pay anybody to take this damn thing. All right. The pharmaceutical company said, Pfizer said it's on track to start the next safety and efficiency trial later this month and is aiming to seek regulatory review as early as October, according to CBS News. Also, a mass shooting in Chicago yesterday left at least 15 people wounded and drew new criticism for the city's leaders who have pushed back against President Trump's call for federal intervention into big city lawlessness. We thought it was a war out here, one witness told local reporters for Fox News. And also, opposition is growing to efforts by the political left to defund the police, with most Americans convinced that such a move will lead to more violent crime. A new Rasmussen report survey finds 64% of Americans are concerned that the growing criticism of America's police will lead to a shortage of police officers and reduce public safety in the community where they live. Well, hello. Can't believe we're even having this conversation. Can you, folks? Can't even believe it. All right, next story. We have the text of a notice of the continuation of a national emergency with respect to transnational criminal organizations. This is a continuation of this executive order. The activities of significant transnational criminal organizations have reached such scope and gravity that they threaten the stability of international political and economic systems. Such organizations are becoming increasingly sophisticated and dangerous to the United States. They are increasingly entrenched in the operations of foreign governments and the international financial system, thereby weakening democratic institutions, degrading the rule of law, and undermining economic markets. These organizations facilitate and aggravate violent civil conflicts and increasingly facilitate the activities of other dangerous persons. So here again, this was back in 2019. The president took additional steps to deal with the national emergency with respect to the transnational criminal organizations in view of the evolution of these organizations as well as the increasing sophistication of their activities, which threaten international political and economic systems and pose a direct threat to the safety and welfare of the United States. Are we talking about here Black Lives Matter and all those organizations that support it and fund money to it? The activities of significant transnational criminal organizations continue to pose an unusual and extraordinary threat. And so the president has to the United States. So the president has renewed this. And of course, here is the letter to the Senate. The Congress, rather, the president has to have a letter informing Congress of this. And of course, folks, this is published in the Federal Register, as all of the president's executive orders and other government business is published there as well. The president also announces his intent to nominate individuals to key administration posts. The president has announced his intent to nominate Dr. Greg Autry of California to be Chief Financial Officer for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration for NASA. Interesting. Okay, there's also there's more nominations coming, but they're in a separate post, and I'll read them when we get there. What we have is President Trump is protecting our nation's vulnerable seniors. President Trump and his administration are following a four-part strategy to provide additional protection to our most vulnerable seniors. The White House and the Department of Health and Human Services will provide weekly data to states on high-risk nursing homes. The administration will distribute $5 billion in funding, in addition to approximately $5 billion already approved for skilled nursing facilities, to all nursing homes who receive funds from Medicare or Medicaid reimbursement. To enhance testing in nursing homes, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services is mandating that all nursing homes in states with elevated positivity rates test their entire staff each week. To help nursing homes comply with this mandate, the administration will distribute more than 15,000 rapid point-of-care diagnostic devices and associated tests over the next few months, starting with nursing homes located in hotspot areas. The administration will continue providing nursing homes and states with substantial technical assistance and training focused on infection control and best practices for nursing homes. The Trump administration is focused on slowing the spread of the COVID-19 and limiting exposure for America's nursing home residents. Nursing homes have been severely impacted by COVID-19, with outbreaks occurring in multiple states. The vulnerable nature of a nursing home residence, combined with the inherent risks of congregate living, requires aggressive efforts to limit the spread of COVID-19. Older Americans have been shown to be at increased risk of COVID-19 complications, and the median age of those who have succumbed to the virus nationwide is 78 years old. Data suggests that nearly half of all COVID-19 related deaths have occurred among residents of nursing homes and long-term facilities. By providing additional support to nursing homes, the administration is ensuring that our vulnerable seniors and support staff are protected. Also, throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, President Trump has taken strong action to support nursing home residents and staff. The administration has provided technical assistance and support to nursing homes and states throughout the pandemic, including on-site visits to higher-risk nursing homes. On April 30th, the president announced an initiative to deliver personal protective equipment to more than 15,000 nursing homes across the nation. CMS has issued comprehensive guidance to support nursing homes in their response to COVID-19, expanding access to free testing and telehealth for Medicare beneficiaries. The administration has distributed more than 66 million gloves, 14 million masks, and 13 million gowns to nursing homes. Before I continue, I'm going to stop into the live chat just to say hello to everybody and see how you're doing and make sure everybody's behaving. I know you are. Just want to see where everybody is and how they're going. So what do you think, folks? Do you think, the president is doing a good job? Do you like what the president's doing? Let me know what you think in the live chat. Sadly, it does look like this COVID-19 has particularly targeted the aged population. This is very concerning, but this is exactly what Aaron Russo did talk about in this interview with Alex Jones many years ago, because, well, he's died since then, not coincidentally, right? Because he produced the movie America from Freedom to Fascism, and I do recommend everybody watch that. He tried to go into the IRS. Aaron Russo tried to go to the IRS with a camera crew and question them about the fact that the income tax is stated that it's voluntary, but it isn't. You'll go to jail if you don't pay your taxes. So they didn't like that. And interestingly, he developed some sort of cancer that was untreatable and uncurable, and he died. So what does everybody think about what the president's doing under these circumstances? Do you think he's a strong leader? Do you think he's a strong commander-in-chief? He is standing up to these bullies. He is actually blocking them from us. And that's what he's doing. And he's got his help to do that. And we're going to talk more about that right now. Here we go. President Trump announces actions to restore safety and peace in the U.S. cities. And the president has been tweeting for the past 2 weeks, law and order, law and order. And this is his this is him backing it up. He backs up what he says. Teflon Don. President Trump announces actions to restore safety and peace in U.S. cities. On June 29th, 4-year-old what is that? Legend Taliaferro was shot and killed in his bed after a gunman opened fire on an apartment complex in Kansas City, Missouri. This afternoon, this was on the 22nd, so that's today. This afternoon, President Trump announced the expansion of Operation Legend, an interagency law enforcement effort led by the Department of Justice and named after Legend. Its purpose is to quell the unacceptable levels of recent violence in U.S. cities. My first duty as president is to protect the American people, and today I am taking action to fulfill that sacred obligation. We're going to listen to a quick soundbite from the president about this. I hope.
My first duty as president is to protect the American people, and today I'm taking action to fulfill that sacred obligation. In recent weeks, there's been a radical movement to defund, dismantle, and dissolve our police departments. Extreme politicians have joined this anti-police crusade and relentlessly vilified our law enforcement heroes. To look at it from any standpoint, the effort to shut down policing in their own communities has led to a shocking explosion of shootings, killings, murders, and heinous crimes of violence. This bloodshed must end. This bloodshed will end. My first duty is...
So there you have it. There you have it. The president is taking very seriously what's been going on in the country, and he is taking action. Let's continue. Sorry a second. Okay. Attorney General Bill Bauer announced the creation of Operation Legend fewer than 10 days after Legend's heartbreaking death. The Justice Department is now surging over 200 federal law enforcement officers into Kansas City to help curb the kind of senseless violence that took the young boy's life. The president announced today that the operation will expand into Chicago and Albuquerque. Over the next 3 weeks, the Justice Department plans to further expand the initiative into Cleveland, Detroit, and Milwaukee. In Chicago, for example, more than 300 federal law enforcement personnel will work with state and local police to help apprehend violent criminals. Just yesterday, another mass shooting in Chicago injured 15 people outside of a funeral service. More than $61 million will be provided by the Justice Department to hire hundreds of new police officers, and about 200 federal agents and deputy marshals will be permanently reassigned to Operation Legend cities. We will never defund the police. We will hire more great police. You're going to hire more. Listen to the president. He's not going to let this narrative take over. He's hiring more police. Look at that. That's our president. We want to make law enforcement stronger, not weaker. What cities are doing is absolute insanity. For decades, politicians have failed law-abiding citizens. Very true. If you want to see that clip, come to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and check this out. Come and click on that link and watch for yourself. We also have the president talking about we're very close to the vaccine. I don't know. People aren't going to take this vaccine. I hope he knows that. But President Trump briefed Americans last night on our continued nationwide fight against the coronavirus. As a result of the administration's quick, aggressive response to recent hotspots, there are currently no unfilled equipment requests from governors. Cases requiring hospitalizations continue to drop, and fatalities have fallen by 75% since mid-April. The administration is working with numerous partners to accelerate the development of a vaccine, and 2 possibilities will reach their final stage of clinical trials this month. This was achieved in record time, President Trump said. President says case fatality rates continue to decline. Ultimately, our goal is not merely to manage the pandemic, but to end it. We want to get rid of it as soon as we can, the president said. That is why getting a vaccine remains a top priority. He also urged Americans to continue to socially distance and to wear masks whenever social distancing isn't possible. We are imploring young Americans to avoid packed bars and other crowded indoor gatherings. Be safe and be smart, he said. When you are not able to socially distance, wear a mask. Okay. You hear my little comments here and there. I'm sorry, but I can't take it seriously when you talk about vaccinations. I just can't. It's just, you know, we already, how many times have felt, look, we know what's in those vaccines, folks, and I'm not putting that in my body, that's for sure. But hey, whatever. Okay, we talked about phase 4. Let's see. What do we have here? Right, we talked about the phase 4 news release. Okay, we didn't talk about, pardon me. The President Donald Trump awards the Medal of Freedom to Jim Ryan. Excuse me. It's always like this at night now. I'm sorry. Sorry for my raspy throat. This week, President Trump will award the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Jim Ryan. This prestigious award is the nation's highest civilian honor, which may be awarded by the president to individuals who have made especially meritorious contributions to the security or national interests of the United States, to world peace, or to cultural or other significant public or private endeavors. Jim Ryan is one of the most accomplished American runners in history and a former United States representative from Kansas. Despite being cut from every athletic team in junior high, Ryan made the track team in Wichita East High School, where he went on to break the world record for the mile and compete in the 1964 Olympic Games. While at the University of Kansas, Ryan broke several more world records, won the silver medal at the 1968 Mexico City Games, and completed in the 1972 Munich Games. Competed, rather. Among many other accolades, he was named APC Wide World of Sports Athlete of the Year and earned the James E. Sullivan Amateur Athlete Award. Following his outstanding athletic career, Ryan honorably served his home state of Kansas in the United States Congress from 1996 to 2006. He has since written 3 books and currently gives motivational speeches around the country. That is wonderful, and congratulations to him. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so here we have a press release, another press release from the White House. Sorry about that. I'm still screen sharing, I think. Let me just double check and make sure that it is screen sharing, because sometimes it doesn't. Okay. Shootings and other crimes spike in the poorest neighborhoods when cops pull back. If there's one lesson from the unrest and anti-police agitation in the wake of the killing of George Floyd, it's that poor minorities living in distressed neighborhoods pay the highest price, in fear and in blood, when the cops retreat and the worst elements feel emboldened, according to the National Review. The spikes in shootings in cities around the country haven't taken place in high-end neighborhoods. No, the blight, they blight the most marginal neighborhoods and make everyday life a hazard for people who have no option but to live in a tough place. A simple additional runway at the Taos, New Mexico airport took more than 20 years to complete because of the permitting and approval process. The future of our country's economy depends in no small part upon federal departments and agencies taking a hard look at their regulatory agendas, according to Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao. Other news are anarchists. Well, these are just continuing headlines, folks. If you want to read these stories, you can go to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and you can click on these links and read the full story. Anarchists and rioters, if we talked about, have wreaked havoc on Portland, Oregon for nearly 2 months. Democrats have excused and emboldened them, and they're now claiming the real problem is that federal law enforcement has to intervene to restore order. If radicals feel emboldened, that's because Portland has long allowed political violence to occur with impunity. After many decades of a trade policy dominated by geopolitics and the blind pursuit of efficiency, the United States now has a new worker-focused trade policy. Some bitter enders will continue to argue that we should just let the jobs go and then attempt to glue the pieces of society back together again. Fortunately, the country as a whole has moved on and will be stronger for it. According to U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, writes in Foreign Affairs. Interesting, folks. Robert Lighthouser is one of the team members who was involved in the China trade talks, as you may recall. So he's right there as alongside the president. How's everybody doing? I just wanted to check in the live chat to see how everybody's doing. Yeah. I want to know, I want to take a poll, and I'm going to probably put this on Twitter and also on Facebook. How many people are actually connecting the dots between Black Lives Matter and the Democrats? If you're watching, could you put a comment in the live chat or in the comment section and let me know what you think about whether you think it's obvious to people that there's a connection between Black Lives Matter and the DNC, especially since these donations to the Black Lives Matter are being funneled, as reports have been showing. I mean, they've been all over the social media and all over Twitter. I'm not sure I really need to go find one and look up that source for you right now. And I believe that we've already done that in one of our political theater reports, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, exactly. Look, folks, what happened recently, right? We had Bank of America announcing that it was going to donate, some $3 trillion to the BLM movement. Who has a problem with that? Of course it is. But I'm curious to find out. I think there's a lot of people who are not making the connection between Black Lives Matter, anti-fascists, which is Antifa, which are fascists, and the Democrats. I think there's too many people who see them as separate issues still. They're not connecting the dots. They're not seeing that. And, Q said, well, some people have to be shown. You can't just tell everybody. There's some people you just can't tell these things to. You have to show them. I understand that. I agree with that. But I find that even just in passing conversation, people they're not connecting it. They're not connecting the two. I see many people not connecting the dots. And you go shopping, you just make like chit chat with somebody, who's ringing you up or whatever. And you coming to the realization these people don't have a clue what's going on because all they're doing is watching mainstream media. And I'm not trying to, disparage anybody, but it's amazing that there's just no dots being connected with that. Some people are. I mean, certainly the GoldFish Report viewers are connecting the dots, and a lot of people who follow the QAnon, other patriots and things like that and other channels, they do it as well. But let me ask the viewers, have you had this experience? Have you found people that you interact with, on a daily basis or even just intermittently, making small talk with people? Do you find that there's a lack of connecting these dots between the BLM and the DNC? Just let me know. Yes, and of course, Judy Shelton was nominated to sit on the Fed board, and it did pass, and so she's there, and she is for gold-backed currency, by the way, folks. So do expect that we're going to be having a gold-backed currency announced very soon. We've done reports on this channel talking about this many, many times, that at some point the whole world will go gold-backed. The question is whether these chips are going to prevail. And yeah, adult kids, this is the problem. I mean, let me tell you, even in the public school system, they are absolutely indoctrinating the children, and they're always trying to make the Republicans look like they're the bad guy, but they don't. And then when they cite the reasons why, it's like, but that's not bad. That's good what they're doing. They're not doing anything terrible. They're not doing anything bad. It's going to be very curious to see how they eulogize the Democrats once everything really comes out to the light and people are exposed for their crimes, and Ukraine and Uranium One and Benghazi, and the list goes on, Russiagate, and let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have? Well, we can just go down the whole list. It's a long list, folks. And of course, Pizzagate and the child trafficking ring. Now, that's not limited to just Democrats, but there's that's going to take it all down, folks. It's going to take it all down. Okay, let's continue. Let's get through this report here today and continue. There's a little bit more news to talk about. Okay. There was a press secretary today by Kayleigh McEnany. You have to go to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and check that out. Okay, memorandum on excluding illegal aliens from the apportionment base following the 2020 census. So the president's very clear here, folks, that he's not going to allow illegals to be counted in the 2020 census. And why should he? You know, if they're here illegally, then there's nobody representing them. They don't have any constitutional rights if they're here illegal, like it or not. That's the law, folks. That's just the law of the land, right? Excluding illegal aliens from the apportionment base following the 2020 census. And this does affect how many people or how many representatives you get to have in Congress and so forth. So here it is. You can come and take a look at that. But in a nutshell, that's what it means. The president, by law, makes the final determination regarding the whole number of persons in each state, which determine the number of representatives to be apportioned to each state, and transmits these determinations and accompanying census data to the Congress. The Congress has provided that it is the president's personal transmittal of the report to Congress that settles the apportionment of representatives among the states, and the president's discretion to settle the apportionment is more than ceremonial or ministerial, and it's essential to the integrity of the process. The Constitution does not define which person must be included in the apportionment base. Although the Constitution requires the persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed, to be enumerated in the census, that requirement has never been understood to include in the apportionment base every individual physically present within a state's boundaries at the time of the census. Instead, the terms persons in each state has been interpreted to mean that only the inhabitants of each state should be included, determining which persons should be considered inhabitants for the purpose of apportionment requires the exercise of judgment. For example, aliens who are only temporarily in the United States, such as for business or tourism, and certain foreign diplomatic personnel are persons who have been excluded from the apportionment base in past censuses. Conversely, the Constitution also has never been understood to exclude every person who is not physically in a state at the time of the census. For example, overseas federal personnel have at various times been included in and excluded from the populations of the states in which they maintain their homes of record. The discretion delegated to the executive branch to determine who qualifies as an inhabitant includes authority to exclude from the apportionment base aliens who are not in a lawful immigration status. There you have it, folks. An executive order 13880 of July 11, 2019, collecting information about citizenship status in connection with the decennial census. I instructed executive departments and agencies to share information with the Department of Commerce to the extent permissible and consistent with the law, to allow the Secretary to obtain accurate data on the number of citizens, non-citizens, and illegal aliens in the country. As the Attorney General, I explained at the time that the order was signed, data on illegal aliens could be relevant for the purpose of conducting the apportionment, and we have intended to examine that issue. So you can come here and take a little bit, read through this a little bit more. I just wanted to give you a little bit of idea what this was about and what the issue is here. So you can come here and take a look at that on the blog as well. And of course, here is a statement from the president regarding this apportionment. I will read it real quick. Last summer in the Rose Garden, I told the American people that I would not back down in my effort to determine the citizenship status of the United States population. Today, I am following through on that commitment by directing the Secretary of Commerce to exclude illegal aliens from the apportionment base following the 2020 census. There used to be a time when you could proudly declare, "I'm a citizen of the United States," but now the radical left is trying to erase the existence of this concept and conceal the number of illegal aliens in our country. This is all part of a broader left-wing effort to erode the rights of American citizens, and I will not stand for it. Today's action to exclude illegal aliens from the apportionment base reflects a better understanding of the Constitution and is consistent with the principles of our representative democracy. My administration will not support giving congressional representation to aliens who enter or remain in the country unlawfully, because doing so would create perverse incentives and undermine our system of government. Just as we do not give political power to people who are here temporarily, we should not give political power to people who should not be here at all. Under an executive order I signed last year, federal departments and agencies have been collecting the information needed to conduct an accurate census and information responsible decisions about public policy, voting rights, and representation in Congress. Today's action further advances this effort and is another example of my administration's commitment to faithfully representing the citizens of the United States and putting their interests first. Okay. As I said, that there was a press briefing today as well by Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, so you're going to want to go to take a look at that. The President held the news conference that I reported about in the beginning of this report, so I'm going to pass by this one. There are also 7 nominations sent to the Senate. We have Andre Bauer of South Carolina to be an ambassador to the country of Belize, John Gibbs to Director of Office of Personnel. We have Personnel Management, Daniel Huff to be Assistant Secretary of Commerce, Brian D. McFeeters of Virginia to be ambassador to Malaysia, Matthew Murray of Maryland to be member of the Defense and Nuclear Facility Safety Board, Robert Primus of New Jersey to be the member of Surface Transportation Board. Surface Transportation Board, as if there's a below surface transportation board or subsurface. That's telling, folks. Just put a note and take note of that. And Situpa Ghosh Stricklet of Maryland to be Assistant Administrator of the United States Agency for International Development. Very good. We have a readout today from the First Lady Melania Trump's conference call with FEMA's Young Preparedness Council. Boy, I wish I had more time. Because I just love our First Lady, and I like to give her lots of credit. Let me just read a little bit of this. Today, First Lady Melania Trump joined a conference call with the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Youth Preparedness Council during their annual summit. The council was formed in 2012 to bring together youth leaders interested in supporting disaster preparedness. Through national and local projects, they strive to engage children and provide the tools and resources needed to educate them on disaster preparedness. Administrator Gaynor provided welcome remarks and discussed the importance of YPC and the many achievements of its members. The administrator then introduced the First Lady, who thanked the YPC members for allowing her to join the summit to hear more about the ways America's children can learn how to prepare for emergencies in their homes, schools, and communities. She expressed gratitude to the YPC members for their leadership to ensure their families, friends, and neighbors are equipped with the tools they need to stay safe. Mrs. Trump also noted that our nation's children remain one of the most at risk during and after disasters, and the important work FEMA Youth Preparedness Council does to help foster the creative and innovative solutions that make their communities more resilient. Actually, I'm going to finish reading it. The First Lady thanked Administrator Gaynor and the YPC Council members for this initiative and leadership, stating, "One of the main pillars of my Be Best initiative focuses on the well-being of children, which include the importance of educating young people from all backgrounds how to prepare for emergency situations. This council embodies that pillar by integrating your voices and vital lessons for children into emergency preparedness. It is never too early for young people to learn how to react and cope during emergency situations. And that's wonderful. And she's obviously a mom, and she is a great mom, because she is like America's mom right now. Not just first lady, but she is a mom, and she shows that by her dedication to the work that she does for children. So that's really wonderful. There's another press briefing. You can go there and check that out. And here is another West Wing Reads. Oh, I already read this one, I think. Let's see. Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah, we read this already as well. And let's just see what else we have. And I think that might be it. I think that's it, folks. That's it for tonight. This is a big deal. This is a lot. And here's also some photos of the week. If you wanted to... No, these aren't... Oh, this is a photo of the day. Is that what it was? I thought it was photos of the week. No. Oh, it's a 1600 daily, yeah. Okay, so this is it. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. I appreciate everybody. I want to thank everybody for your comments in the comment section. Slim, thanks for being there. I see you there. He's been writing a lot there. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And Sherry, dear, thank you so much for being there. And all of our wonderful viewers, Wendy, Karen, Sandra, C, Slim, Freeman, Morgan, Cheryl. I appreciate you all being there. If I didn't mention your name, Diane, Susan, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. So everybody, that's it. The president's very busy. You know that he's working very hard, and he is what's standing in the way of the globalists wanting to completely take out this country. We know also from this revealing interview from Aaron Russo that the globalists wanted to... There's been this depopulation agenda that they've been steadfast in trying to execute, or execute, interesting word, right? They've been trying to execute, okay, in terms of to fulfill. And Aaron Russo did state in this interview that the elderly were going to be, that their plan, the globalist plan, were to eliminate the elderly first. And because they also contained history, because they're trying to change history. If you notice what they're doing with the statues, and they're doing this in the schools as well. So if the older generations are there who still, remember what real war was, right? That would be a threat to the globalists, because then people would know that there's something to compare it to. So folks, we're a country in peril right now. I really have to say that, but I think that we're all just do the best you can, help one another, live your best life, right? I mean, what can you do? You can voice your opposition to this. You can say, we do not consent. I do not consent. And you can definitely, voice your concern. And if you want to find some other good things about what's happening, you can tune in tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time, to hear what Dr. Scott Werner has to say about focusing on the positive, because we have to. We have to focus on that and bring it into fruition. We have to focus on the power. On the positive, because we need to unite. That's where our power resides, is in being united. So thank you so much, Sherry, dear. It's good to see you there. Appreciate you all being there. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, folks, this is like end times, isn't it? It's end times. It's crazy, but it's exactly what George Orwell warned us all. It's all coming to fruition. So we can't say we weren't warned. The question is, are we going to let this happen? And so thank God we have President Trump stepping up now, using these federal agents, swooping in and picking these people up who are not protesters. These are violent mobs, and they are coming to, this is an insurrection, and this has to be handled this way. And I believe under the Insurrection Act, the president is in fact doing what the Insurrection Act is created for. So it's going to be interesting, folks. Thank you so much, Karen. I do appreciate that. You know, unfortunately, our channel has been demonetized, but we all knew that was coming, didn't we? If you want to help support the Goldfish Report and help keep these going, you can go to thegoldfishreport.com and you can make a contribution there, which would really help. If you want to become a Patreon and make a regular commitment, you can go to our Patreon page, and all those links are in the description section below. I'm sorry, folks. It's such a long day. And I have to tell you, I don't even tell you half the stuff I have to deal with. And it's almost my sacred space now, coming on and doing my reports with you all, because it gets me away from some of the other chaos that's going on in my life. So I do appreciate you guys being there. Let's just stick together. Just keep tuning into the Goldfish Report. We're going to keep being here. You're not going to be alone through this. We're all going to go through it together. As long as we have internet, we're going to stand together, and we're going to go through this together. So God willing. So you all have a really great night. I appreciate you all being there. Thanks for all of thank you so much. Yeah, give a thumbs up to the channel. I do appreciate that, Slim. Thank you. I always forget, and Slim always reminds me. He's always so good. Thank you so much, Slim. I appreciate it. And Sherry, you do the same, my friend. Thank you so much. And everyone else who's joined me, thank you so much. And for everybody, please circulate this video far and wide. Give us a thumbs up so we get recommended into everyone's news feeds. And support our president, because we know that our country, this is truly not just a battle for this country, it's a battle for humanity, folks. Because what happens in America is going to follow in the rest of the world. And they know it. And they're all praying for us and hoping that we all have a voice of reason, which is our president. And, we have to stick together. So I'll be back tomorrow morning, 10:30 with Dr. Scott Werner. And then I'll be back on Saturday night to do the remaining report of the president's policy for the remainder of the week. And we'll see you then. So thank you, everybody, so much for joining me. If you want to check out this week's political theater, you can go to, actually, there's I don't know what to call it. There's a video on YouTube here that just has the, I'm going to screen share it because some people got a little bit confused. So let me do that. Let me screen share that. And I'll show you how we do this. Okay? Before we get disconnected. This was actually last week, but this is it. It's just a video. It's just announcing that the report. See, I'm going to show it to you. No, this is the actual report. Sorry. Wait 1 second. I'm going to get it back. Hold on a second. I'll show you the one from today. Here it is. Okay. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd. For this week's Political Theater Report, please click the link below in the description section, and you'll be directed to our BitChute channel, which will have the report on it. We're going to do this until after the election, folks. So thanks for your patience, and thanks for viewing. Okay, so after this, right, you can go, you have to click Show More, and thanks to Slim for making this point and responding to some people. When you click Show More, the link is right here. I don't know why it does this, because there's plenty of room for this to show. It's not like it's a lot, right? But when you click on this link, look at where you go. Okay, you go right to the report on BitChute. It takes you right directly to that link. So that just clears up any confusion that anybody might have regarding the the report. So I hope everybody has a really great night. Pray for our president. That's all I can suggest. But this president is going to get reelected in a landslide victory. History will be much kinder to this president. It certainly will be. And it's our job, folks, to make sure that history is never removed. So to all the patriots out there and all you Americans, thank you so much for joining us. And all the other earthlings who we share this planet with, thank you for your prayers, because we know we need them right now to keep humanity, surviving and procreating, and not let the invisible enemy win. So you have a great night, everybody. This concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report. Thanks for joining me.